going to show step by step how to design a calculator like this one using HTML. First of all, by looking at this, you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 rows, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So we should create a table with 7 rows and 5 columns. I have already started. This is the shell to create a table with 7 rows and 5 columns. If I go and display it, then you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Now we are going to go ahead and start putting elements inside each of these tables. The first thing we have to do to duplicate this, I need to merge all the cells on the first row. So these cells, they have to be merged together. So I'm going to go back to my design, and here, the first cell, I'm going to say column span is equal to 5. And then I'm going to erase everything here. Now, if I preview it again, you will see that I have only one cell in the first row. Now, we need to put a number here. If you look here, it has an 18 here. So I'm going to go back and insert 18 in the first cell. So I'm going to go here, and instead of space, I'm going to type 18 dot. So if I preview it again, you will see 18 appears here. We are going to fix the alignment later on, but first we're just going to put the values inside each cell. So if we look at the table again, you see that the first one is M plus and then CE. But CE is going to span 2 columns, this one and this one. So CE is 2 columns. And now I have to work with the size or the width of each column. So I'm going to go back to my design here. I said the first one is going to be M plus. Then the second one is going to be CE. But the second one is going to be span 2 columns. So column span is equal to 2. So I'm going to erase the next column. Now the next one is going to be again 2 columns. So column span is equal to 2. And it's going to be, if you look at the design, it's going to be CA. So I'm going to have CA here. And I'm going to erase this one. Now, if we browse it, then you will see that the widths of the columns do not match. One thing you have to remember is that if you look at each row, it is composed of 5 columns. So each column is going to get 20% of the widths. So for the first one, which is M plus, I'm going to write width is equal to 30%, 20%. I'm going to copy. Now the next one is going to be 2 columns, so the width is going to be 40%. And also the next one is 2 columns, so it's going to be 40%. Now, if we look at it, it has to be, and you can see that the widths are okay now. The only thing is that if you look at the calculator here, the width is not like the one that we have. So let's change the width of the table and make it a little bit smaller. Right now, the width is 30%. Let's make it 20%. Let's see what will happen. You can see it's getting smaller. Now, if you really want to match this one, probably we have to make it a little bit more. Let's say we change it to 10%. This looks a little bit like this one, although the height is different, but it looks a little bit like this one, width-wise. So now I'm going to go for the next row. The next row, we have m minus, plus or minus, division, multiplication, and subtraction. So first, I'm going to put m minus for the next column. So m minus. Now, if you look here, we have plus or minus, and we don't have corresponding character on the keyboard. So what you have to do is you have to go on Google and search for HTML code for plus or minus symbol. Now, if you look here, plus or minus, the HTML code, which is the entity here, is this one. So I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to go back to my design. After m-1, I'm going to put this code. If I browse it, then you will see that m minus plus or minus is here. The next one that we have to look for, the next one is division symbol. So again, we do the same thing. We go back here. This time, we say division. And the division symbol, it's this symbol. I'm always looking for the code which starts with the and sign and ends with semicolon. So this is the one that I'm looking for. So I copy it, I go back here, and in the next one, I'm going to paste this one. Now, let's preview it. You can see the division symbol. The next one is multiplication symbol. We do the same thing. We go to Google and we type division or multiplication symbol. And multiplication symbol, I can use this code. So I go back here, and after division, I put multiplication. And you can see now I have multiplication. The only thing which is left is the last one, which is subtraction. So I go here and I just hit the dash here. So we are all set with this part. If we go back here, we have MR 789 and then plus, which occupies 2 rows. So MR 789 and plus. So I go back here, close this one. So MR 789 7 8 9 and then plus, which is going to occupy 2 columns. So I'm going to say 2 rows. So I'm going to say row span is equal to 2, and then I'm going to erase this cell underneath. And now if we browse it, you will see that the plus is occupying 2 rows and you have MR789. Now we're going to go with the next row. The next row is %456. So we go back here. So the next one is %456. If we preview it, you will see the same thing here. The next row is square root symbol, 1, 2, 3, and then equal, which is 2 rows, merging 2 rows. So first thing first, we have to find square root. So we go again to HTML and we say for square root symbol. And the square root symbol is, this is the decimal, I don't need decimal. So the square root is this number, the HTML code. So this is the one I'm looking for. So I go back here. So I'm going to type this one. And then the next one that I have to do is 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 3. And then I have equal, which merges 2 rows together. So after this is equal, and the row span is equal to 2. And I have to erase the last cell here. So now when I look at it, you can see that square root 1, 2, 3 and equal is here. Now I have to do the last row. The last row is pi. Again, we have to find the code, and then 0, 0 is 2 columns merged together, then dot. So first we have to go and find pi. So we go here. This time we want pi symbol. So pi symbol, I can use this code. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste this code. And then the next thing is 0 but 2 columns. So I'm going to make this 0, and then I'm going to say here column span is equal to 2. I'm going to erase this column. And then the last one is going to be a dot. So I'm going to put a dot here. And this is our calculator. Now let's start fixing the characters. First of all, if you look at our calculator here, everything is bold here. Okay? So we have to make our calculator to display bold characters. And you know how to display bold characters by now. To do that one, I'm going to wrap this one around with the B tag. And the other thing is that this 18, if you look here, it is aligned to the right. Okay, so I have to do the alignment here. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to use the styling method. So I'm going to say here style double quotation mark, then I'm going to say text align colon right. Now if you look at it, you will see 18 is aligned to the right, which is correct so far. Now we have to do exactly the same thing with these guys, but the only thing is that the text here has to be centered. I think if we increase the width, it's going to look a little bit better. So first, let's go here, instead of 10, let's make it 15%. It's a little bit better now. Now I have to have all of these text to be centered, and also I want the text to be bold. To do this one, I have to add the B tag to every one of these cells. What I mean is the following. First of all, I have to add this style, which in this case is right, align right to all these TDs and make it center. Just imagine how many pasting you have to do. And also, I have to wrap every one of these texts with a B tag. Again, that's going to be a very, very time-consuming job. So what else can you do? There is an easy way of doing it, is using style sheets. To do that one, remember I talked about the head section? Now we can go ahead and use this part. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use style sheet to define the style for my table. So I'm going to say style and then close it. Since I'm going to define this style for the table, I'm going to say table comma TD. So whatever property I'm going to define for table and TD is going to affect all the elements here. What exactly do I want to do is the following. I want the text to be bold everywhere here and also to be centered. How do I define it is very simple. You always start with the curly bracket and end it with the curly bracket. I want everything in my table to be centered, so I'm going to say text align to be centered, and I want everything to be bold. So what property name do I use? I use font dash weight. And what is the value? The value is bold. I want everything to be bold. Now, what it means is the following, that everything here is going to be centered and it's going to be bold, except this one, 18. Because in 18, I said that I want it to be right. It's going to overwrite this center. So this means that whenever you want to overwrite your style sheet that you define in the head section, just specify that property individually for that HTML tag. Let's display this and see how it looks. Look here. This one is still right. Everything is centered and they are all in bold. Instead of trying to do it one by copy and paste, we did it only once in the head section. This was a good example of why you use CSS, which is Cascading Style Sheet. Okay, let's continue. The only thing which is left here is the background color. So let's start with the top one. What color is it? To find the color, as I explained in the class, I use the color cop. I click on this one, I move it here. The color code appears here. So I just copy this color code and then I go back to my definition here for the HTML, and here for this TD, I'm going to have in the style sheet, I'm going to have background dash color, and the background color is going to be this one. Now, if we browse it, you can see the background color changed. Now I'll go for the next one. The next one is this color. So again, I use the color cop. I move it about here. this is the color, this is the code. Copy it. I go back here. Now I'm going to copy this code here, and I'm going to copy this style. You will see why. I copy it, I put it here. I don't need the text align anymore, so I'm going to erase it. And then I'm going to replace the color with this color. And now I can just cut this one and put it on M plus, and also I want it for M minus. You can see that the background color now is changed. The next one we have to do is these two colors, CE and CA. So again, I go back to my color cop. I get this one. This is my code. So I'm going to go CE and CA. So again, I do the same thing. Now I'm going to go to CE, and I'm going to create the style. So I'm going to say style is equal to double quotation mark background dash color to be the number that we just copied, and then I'm going to copy this one, and then I'm going to paste it to CA. Now if I go to the browser, you can see that everything is changed according to the image here. Now I'm going to go and change the plus sign. So again, I'm going to start the color cop, click on this, then go over the green. This is the code. So I'm going to copy it. Now I'm going to go, I have to change the equal sign. So I'm going to go here, and again I'm going to say style is equal to double quotation mark background dash color, and I want this code. So let's preview it. Oops. The problem is the typing here, it's background color. Now you can see it becomes green. So now let's go and change the other ones. I need these colors. Oops. I need these background colors to be this color. So again, I'm going to go to my color cop, and this is the color I want, so I'm just going to copy it. Now I go back to the code, and I want to change 789, all the numbers and the dot. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to type the style here, and then I'm going to copy and paste it. So style is equal to background color this is my background color style, so I'm going to copy it. So every number, so starting with dot, is dot included? Yes, dot 2. So this is my dot, so I'm just going to paste it here. Before I continue, let's check to see if the color is correct. The dot becomes this color, which is not the color we want. So let's go back to this and check the color code here. This is the color. So background is this. So the color is changed now. Now you can see the color changes. So I'm going to go and copy this style and paste it to all numbers. So 0, I want this one. Then I'm going to go with 1, I'm going to change it. Then I'm going to change 2. Then I'm going to change 3. Then 4. Then 5. Then 6. One thing I have to tell you is that all these styles that we are pasting here, I can do it right on the top in style sheet. But that one is, I have to introduce a class and then use the class name here, which is going to be a little bit complicated for now. So I'm just going to paste it because I hope you understand this one better. So 6, and then it's 7, 8, and 9. Now, if I preview it, you will see everything is changed accordingly. Now let's go and see our design. Now I have to change these to this background. If you look here, this background here is the same as the background for these. So let's copy this style for the top, for the background, and then paste it to these keys. So I'm going to go here. So for the 18, the style is this one, but I don't want to use the text align right, so I'm just going to erase this one. Now I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to use it for, let's see, for plus or minus division. So let's see, where is the plus or minus here? m-1, m-1 plus or minus is here, so I'm going to use it for this one. Then the next one, then the next one, and also the next one. So let's see how it looks. You can see that these are changed. Now if you go here, you can see percent, square root, and pi. Also they have the same background as these. So I'm going to go back here. So percent. Now I have to go and find percent. So let's see where the percent is. Percent is here. So I paste it here. Then the one underneath is square root, which is this one, and then one underneath, which is pi. So now everything is set except plus. Let's see what plus looks like. Plus is the same as these. So I'm going to go and going to find plus sign. Plus sign is here, so I'm going to paste this one here. Now everything is set except MR. Now we have to find the background color for MR. The background color for MR, no, it's different. So I'm going to go here again, and I'm going to come here. This is MR, and this is the color code. Now I'm going to go back and do the last one. R is here, so I'm going to say style is equal to background dash color colon, oops, this one we have to erase it. It's the reason is at the bottom we have this one, so I'm going to just erase it, and this is our calculator completed.